From India's capital, Delhi, I'm Tulika, and this is the Press Express In Depth podcast. India is halfway into the election season. 93 seats are up for grabs today in the third phase of voting that's going on. More than 1,300 candidates across 11 states and union territories are in the fray. And after voting ends today, India would have completed election for 283 of the total 543 parliamentary seats. But what's been happening so far? To give you a catch up on that, today I have with me acclaimed international conservative, political, economic, and foreign policy expert, Dr. Shubhra Kamal Datta. Welcome, sir.
Namaskar.
Well, great to have you with us, sir. And let's dive right in. Voter turnout till 1 p.m. India time has been 39.92%. But in the first two phases of the election, the voter turnout dipped by nearly 3 to 4%. What do you make of this voter turnout trend?
See, this is not a very worrying factor in the first and the second phase of election. The voter turnout in comparison to 2019 was definitely less, around two
Mhm.
and a half to 3%. But the reason behind this is the excessive heat wave, which is continuing across the country, and the weather
Okay.
has been very, very bad. So that was the reason why there was less turnout. And 2019 was an exceptional case because we had the Balakot surgical strike, and
Yes,
also, there was a lot of problems with Pakistan. So that was an exception. But having
that's
said
true.
that, if we look into 2014 or 2009 and 2004 and now 2024, in comparison to all those election years, the voter turnout has been quite satisfactory in the first two
Right.
phases. And today, it seems like it is going to be a much higher turnout because already it's around 40% by 1 o'clock. And
Yes, yes.
as far as my information and my reports, the reports which I'm getting from across the nook and corner of the country, it seems like by the time it's 5 o'clock, it should be somewhere above 65%, or might
Okay.
be somewhere between 65 to 70%, and that should be
Okay.
very, very satisfactory.
Okay.
Having said
Now, when a
that,
lot,
almost, yeah,
sorry
yeah.
to interject about the heat wave point. A lot of people have attributed it to the heat wave, which is there today as well. But there's also some chatter about this being a more muted election than what was expected earlier. What do you make of that?
I would not say that this has been a muted kind of an election. Yes, there hasn't been any hyper hope, or there hasn't been any kind of a hyper political, rhetoric in this election, like the way it was in 2009, or for that matter in 2019. The
Hmm.
election has been smooth, and the election campaigning has been very good, even though there has been rhetoric from both sides. But I think the rhetorics have been more from the Indi Garbandhan, and what the retort to that is by the Prime Minister, and the retort to that is a very logical retort being given by the
Yes.
Honorable Prime Minister. Today, after the completion of the third phase of the election, almost half of the seats of Bharatiya Parliament would be over, or the Lok Sabha would be over. And I think the way things are going, it seems that the PM has already won the election, election political theatrics as such, because my understanding is like the opposition hasn't been able to counter the PM on any issue. Rather, the opposition is giving the Prime Minister issues after issues after issues because of
Okay.
their mismanagement and because of their absurdity and because of their political stupidity.
Okay.
And
Well,
in my under
I
yeah,
must add here that according to critics, there has been some visible shift against the BJP-led NDA camp from, what it was 2 months back, and especially compared to the 2014 and 2019 election, where there was this big Modi euphoria. Now, especially after the mixed voter turnout in the first two phases and now the third phase of the election, the critics are saying that the big Modi euphoria is not to be seen this time.
well, like if I have to go by the logic of the critics, then I would question the critics in 2019 itself. like most of the news channels and most of the vehement critics of the Honorable Prime Minister, they were all saying that, oh, BJP is not going to come back to power. Like it's going to be a ragtag kind of a NDA government in which BJP alone with the NDA would be able to cobble up somewhere around 240 to 50 seats. That was the opinion poll and the exit polls that time. And then there would be more fishing out from the UPA and few pensators from the UPA, including the TMC. They were not ruling out the TMC also that
Yeah.
time, that they would
Mhm.
shift their allegiance and they would join the bandwagon of the extended NDA, but Modi ji would not be the instead would be
Right.
some other replacement. This was the
Right.
argument which they were giving. And when the results came out, BJP alone scored 304 seats. The NDA together scored, the overall NDA scored around 236 seats in the lower house of the parliament. So,
Yes.
that in 2019 also they had same kind of rudimentary arguments. This time also they are giving same kind of rudimentary arguments. What I can say, and I can say with a lot of conviction, because we are not those five-star hotel analysts, who sit on the five-star hotel and on the payroll of any political party, they just giving sweeping statements. We are not of those type. We go to the ground, we travel around, and we see the reality with our own eyes. I can
Right.
say with a lot of conviction, because of the super track record of the Honorable Prime Minister, without any allegation of single corruption scam, no scam has been, uncovered in the last 10 years, and the fantastic governance which the Prime Minister has given. After this three phase of election, I can say with a lot of conviction that, in my understanding, BJP alone has crossed 200 seats in the in the
Okay.
in the three phases now. So
Well,
with
we'll discuss
how
this in more detail later. But my question to you is also about political campaigning, which you were mentioning earlier, which has been quite extreme from both the camps. The Congress-led, camp, the India bloc, is obviously going with the "save the country, save the constitution, protect democracy" rhetoric. And on the other hand, Prime Minister Modi has been doubling down on the Muslim quota issue and the inheritance tax. Uh, how do you see this polarization?
see, like, in relation to the Indi alliance or the Indi Gathbandhan, I always say that the Indi alliance has actually given all these issues inflated to the prime minister. If you
Mm-hmm.
look into the manifesto of the Congress Party, is not the Congress Party talking about redistribution of wealth? Of course it is. Shriman
Hmm.
Rahulji is again and again saying about redistribution of wealth in the Congress manifesto itself. There is a line which says that the wealth of the country would be redistributed, and in that redistribution, the minority community, including other marginal, would be getting maximum benefit out.
Yeah.
When the Congress talks about minority community, we can correlate that with the statement of the from former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, when he had twice explicitly said that the national resources of the country should first go to the minority community and especially to the Muslims. That's one.
Hmm.
The second thing is, like, what have they done in Karnataka? They have gotten the Muslim within the OBC ambit, and they have given
Hmm.
reservation to the Muslim community. The Indian constitution, the Bharatiya constitution, doesn't allow reservation on religious line. Whenever Congress has tried
Okay.
to this in the past, those were
Hmm.
struck down by the high courts, whether by the Telangana High Court or whether by the Hyderabad High Court or whether by the Kerala High Court. Congress has been repeating this again and again. Second is,
Hmm.
like, the statements coming from the alliance partner of the Indie alliance. See the statement of Lalu Prasad Yadav. Is he not
Hmm.
advocating Muslim reservation? Of course he is. Mamata
Hmm.
Banerjee on record keeps on saying that my government
Yeah.
would give maximum benefits to the minority caste. Why? Because she says that the Muslim community are my dudel guy. They are my milking
Hmm.
cow. She has said this on record. You look into the position taken by Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar has also similarly said time and again that yes, minority community, especially
Yeah.
the Muslim
Yeah.
community, should enjoy maximum benefits out of it. When the
So
Congress
this is
talk,
the BJP pivot. This is the BJP pivot, and you were earlier saying that we are connected on the ground. How is all this being received on the ground?
yes, it's resonating on the ground, and people are accepting what the Prime Minister is saying because there is logic behind it. When Shriman Rahulji, when he says that, we will go for an economic and financial survey, a wealth survey, and we will redistribute the wealth based on the percentage of caste group. He's talking about two things. One is caste census, and out of the outcome of the caste census, whichever caste is having less number of benefits from the government or less wealth, they would be benefited by giving the wealth from the people who are having more wealth. That's one argument which he's giving. Then he's
Mhm.
also saying that out of that wealth survey, the maximum benefits would go to the minority community and to the Muslim community. That's one which he has been talking about. He's talking about inclusion of the Muslim community within the reservation ambit. And for that, he would actually amend the existing laws because there is a cap of 50% on reservation here in India. So if he has to bring the Muslim community within the reservation quota, then what he's saying that we will amend the
Yeah.
laws, amend this constitutional provision because Supreme Court has given a cap on this. So which means a similar thing, similar to that of Shah Banu case, would be done, and additional quota would be given to the Muslim community above 50%. That is the
Mhm.
argument which he's giving, right? So
Okay.
Congress is talking on those lines. Prime Minister pointing out those is a sin. You do it, it is not a sin. Someone pointing it out to you, then that
Mhm.
person is a senior. I am doing this in your show today. I'm pointing out this misgivings of the Congress party. I would be labeled as a senior. Why? Because I have
Mhm.
exposed the duplicity of the Congress party on this. Then
Okay.
the kind of statements which are coming from ex-congressmen and ex-congresswomen,
Okay.
what is the Acharya, what has he said? He has said that Rahul Gandhi, once the historic decision on the Ram Mandir was given, Pramod Krishnan, he has said that Rahul Gandhi had called his courtry and he was discussing as to how to do away with this historic decision of the Honorable
Mhm.
Supreme Court, similar to that of Shah Banu case, if they are voted to power in
Okay.
2019.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
Radhika, just 5 seconds more.
Sure. Sure.
Radhika Khera, then Gaurav Bhallav, they all have said that they have come out of the Congress because they had gone to do puja at the Ram temple, and there is no place for people who believe in Sanatan Dharma or those who follow the ideals of Lord Ram, and that's the reason
Yeah.
they have resigned from the Congress.
Right.
So
Right.
when I club up all these things together with the provisions in the manifesto of the Congress Party, I would say
Mhm.
that Congress Party is actually giving the issues to the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister is just highlighting those.
Okay. Okay. Well, 79% people, according to a recent Lokniti CSDS survey in India, have said that India is a country that is, for all religions equally. And only about 18% have said that India belongs to Hindus only. So one is that survey. There's also another CSDS survey that talks about the real voter issues, and it says that I'm quoting from here: 27% feel that unemployment is the biggest issue. 23% have said price rise is a big issue. Then there is development and corruption at 13 and 8%. And Hindutva and Ram Mandir issues are actually at the very bottom at 2% and 8%. So are we somewhere really making the right connect with the what the voters really want?
See, I have serious doubts about this modus operandi of this survey itself and the
Okay, this
institution.
is by Lokniti CSTS.
Yes, yes, the institution which has done this because there are questionable credentials about their political ideology.